Welcome to Crochet After Dark, podcast episode number 14. If you're new here, my name's April, and on this podcast, I love to showcase anything crochet and yarn related. Now, 99% of the projects that I work on are blankets, which typically I donate for charity, so that's the majority of what you're going to see today, but I also occasionally have other projects as well. I only have one finished object today, but it is a big one. Since I started my channel, viewers have noticed this really pretty neon chevron blanket sitting behind me, and a few of you have asked me for a tutorial. I finally got around to making the tutorial, so this is my blanket. This blanket sits on my couch. I never added a border. I created this just for me before I ever even thought about starting YouTube, but I did finally film a tutorial and make a whole new blanket for the channel. This will be coming out soon, but this is the blanket that I created. And I only used 3 colors for this one. And then I did this border, and I meant it to kind of look like a road. I don't know if it really had that effect because these checkered colors and the brights kind of remind me of a race car. So I was trying to go for a striped road effect. I'm not quite sure if I hit a home run there, but it's really cute. I can't wait to donate this. I've got almost an hour of video footage that I need to edit and put together for you guys. And so that, again, as I have time, I'll get that edited, get the pattern written out, and then you'll see this tutorial on my channel. But this was really fun to work up. It's actually really quick to work up. It's just I have, as you can see, a lot of whips, so it took me a little bit. Plus, when I'm doing a tutorial, I have to film every segment for you guys, so that takes a little bit longer too. But I'm really proud of this one. I can't wait to show you guys the pattern, and that's my finished object for the week. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, please be sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. Let's get started. Today I want to show you a few of my recent yarn purchases. Now I got these for a specific reason, and I thought that I would share the colorways with you and let you know what my plans for them are. First up is this Bernat blanket yarn. This is super, super pretty, and I loved the different colorways. This is Tropical Splash, and I got 4 cakes of this, although I do think that I'm probably going to need 1 extra cake because I'll show you in my works in progress. I've already worked up 1 whole cake, and I think to get the width that I need for this project, I might need a 5th one, but we'll see. And I think I got this on sale for like $8 a cake at Joann's. They're having a sale right now, and then I had a 20% off my total purchase coupon, so that's pretty good. Next, I got these 2 colors of the Karen Cinnamon Swirl Cakes. I really just do love the way these cinnamon swirl cakes work up, and I'm going to use my new favorite go-to pattern, the one I designed. I'll link to the video tutorial, and I'll pop a picture up of the blanket I completed in a different colorway, but for sure I'm going to work this one in that pattern, and then I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this, but I did get 3 cakes of each, so we'll see. But I've already started this in my corner to corner blanket pattern, so I'm excited to see how that's going to work up. Last but not least, I did finally pick up a skein of the Red Heart Granny Square yarn. Now, I'm not really interested in doing the Granny Square pattern on this, but again, with my corner to corner pattern where I work up the blanket in panels, I'm really interested to see how this stripe effect will work for that pattern. So that's what I purchased this for. Again, I got 3 skeins. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to make a blanket that's suitable for donation, but I'm really just wanting to test and see how this colorway works up in that corner to corner pattern. Actually, I'm going to be working this pattern up in 3 different colorways. So this one here, the Karen Cinnamon Swirl Cake, which I've already started, and then the Bernat blanket, which I've also already started. So that same pattern I want to test out in these 3 different colorways, and I will link the video tutorial, which is already on YouTube, at the end of this video, as well as in the description for you to check out if you're interested in trying that pattern. If you've done corner to corner, it's super easy and you could totally do it. So I think that's a good segue into the whips or the works in progress. Let's have a look at what's currently on my hook. Now keep in mind that I probably have over 30 whips at this point, and while I'm not going to show them all to you today. I do have a video planned where I will showcase all of them for you. The first whip I want to show you is the panel that I've worked up in that Bernat blanket yarn. So again, this is going to be a corner to corner blanket worked in join as you go panels. And it's pretty long. I am making this for myself, for my couch. I wanted a nice warm blanket. It's been getting cold here. And while I do run the heater, I don't really want to run it as often because it uses propane and electricity. And so we'll make a nice cozy blanket so we could turn that thermostat down. But this is the first whip, and I worked this all up. I just bought this yarn yesterday, so this is just in a night and a half. It's working up super quickly with a number 9 hook, so I'm loving how this is turning out. The second whip you can see right here behind me. This is actually, the idea behind this was sprung from, I follow a couple of YouTubers, as I'm sure everybody does, but there are 2 in particular that have a make-along challenge every month, and there's Nonna Rosanna, Crochet with Nonna Rosanna. She does a book cover inspiration, and then there's also Judys Creations, and she does a butterfly crochet or butterfly make-along. It could be crochet or knit for either of them, or yarn crafts in general. So this month, they both happened to have, both the butterfly and the book cover had red, white, and black. And then with it being February, I thought this is the perfect opportunity for me to get my feet wet and participate in these kind of challenges and just create something for fun. So I created a pattern for this heart block. I'm calling this blanket the Queen of Hearts. And this is a raised edge granny square heart block. And I don't know if you can see, but that black edging is raised. So I started crafting this for donation, and then my daughter saw it and she loved it. So now I'm making it for her. And because it's going to be for her and she's 17, I need to make it a little bit bigger. So where I was going to make it 4 by 4, now it's going to be 5 by 5. The tutorial for the heart block is already available on my YouTube channel. And again, I'll link that in the description. I'm using Join As You Go, and so this is working up super quickly. Each block took about 30 minutes. And now that I'm using Join As You Go, it's joining up really, really quickly. I do, however, need to make like 9 more blocks. So I'll be working on that over the coming weeks and hopefully have this finished before the end of February. Now, as I was filming that tutorial, I decided to do a couple of different colorways, so you can see those here. And I just wanted to show, as part of my video tutorial, how you could kind of mix things up. And so what I'm going to do, since my daughter's keeping the blanket, is I'm going to turn this into a cute little pillow for her. So I've already finished the 4 blocks and joined them, and I need to weave in my ends. And then I have a couple of empty pillow forms. I'll just do a crochet border and then a back side. So this is another work in progress that kind of goes with that heart blanket. My next work in progress uses, again, my own pattern, the double triple ripple. And this time I've worked it up in a fun colorway. So you can see here, I really love these colors. This is using turquoise and navy and dark peach and light peach. Now the only thing, this pattern, you really have to make a gauge swatch to make sure that the pattern is going to be the width that you need it. And I was trying to get it to fit in Boggy Creek dimensions, which is not what I normally do. Normally I make it for Project Linus, which my local chapter does 36 by 36 minimum, but it can be a little bit bigger. So I always go a little bit more than that just to be sure to hit the minimum. But Boggy Creek has a specific 35 to 40 inch requirement for their width that I was really trying to hit. And even though I made a gauge swatch, I made this a little bit narrow. So what I'm going to wind up doing is, this is almost done, and then I'm just going to have to put an edging on either side. So the length is perfect, but I'll have to add an edging, which I normally wouldn't have done for this blanket just because it turns out really nice with nice straight edges. So this one should be done soon, and hope to show that as a finished object here in the coming weeks. So next up, technically this is a work in progress, though I will say it is almost completely done, is this granny square blanket. This is made up in Red Heart Monet and Red Heart Lemon. Let's see, this is the front. And it's just a granny square blanket with 3 rounds of the variegated Monet yarn and 1 round of the lemon. And the idea here was just to create something that was pretty for donation and to use up some of my stash. So while obviously I'm not on a no-buy challenge this year, I do want to start using up more and more of my stash. I think the more that I can clear out, the more that I can then fill it up with new yarns. In my stash, there's already some yarns that have been discontinued, some colorways that have been discontinued. And especially with me creating tutorials, I think that people like to be able to get the exact yarn color when they like the way that a certain blanket looks. And some people like to do their own thing too, but I want to be able to use the yarns that are currently available. But in order to do that, I need to use up my existing yarn stash. So that's what I'm doing, is just slowly kind of going through, doing something easy if I need to, and creating an exciting pattern if I can. But just using up that yarn stash. So this is one of the blankets that I did that. Now it's all done, including the border. All I have is just a few ends to weave in, and so this will be done very shortly and then ready for donation. While some of the blankets I designed do tend to be a little bit more intricate, like this heart-shaped block, I do realize that a lot of people who watch may be crocheting blankets for charity, and so a simpler pattern that works up quickly allows a lot of crocheters to get through the pattern more quickly and donate it and move on to the next one. So I wanted to design something that was very simple, very easy, uses basic stitches, but do a little bit of play on color so that it adds some visual interest. So this is what I came up with. It's basically windows, so 2 rounds of granny stitch and 1 round of windows or fillet. And then what I did was I worked squares out, and now I'm working a mitered corner. If you've seen my Cooper baby blanket pattern, you will have seen I've done this mitered corner before, which isn't revolutionary, but I think it can add a really nice touch to some blankets. So this blanket you could work up 2 different ways. You could just go round and round, or you could do a mitered once you get the blanket to the width that you'd like it to be. So when I do the tutorial for this, as well as the written pattern, I will include how to do both the mitered as well as just continue around and around. This is really fun. It's almost done. All I have to do is film the last part of the tutorial for the miter, and then get that edited, get the pattern written up. And so it's a little bit of a process, but we're getting there. Another project I've had on the hooks for quite a while, and I'm still just working through, is a traditional granny square blanket, but I'm doing a really fun colorway. So this is using Lion brand Heartland yarns, and it's looking really great. I just still have tons of these little blocks to weave in the ends. Once that's all done, I'm looking forward to putting it together and then showing you guys how to create the blanket, as well as giving you the layout for the color blocks if you wanted to make a blanket that matches what I've done. The great thing about this project is I am making a larger blanket, but the way that I've designed the pattern is you can make smaller sections of the grid to be baby blanket size, throw size, etc. So that's kind of fun there. The final work in progress I want to show you is, I did mention that I was starting a blanket with this colorway of the Karen Cinnamon Swirl Cakes. And this is what I've gotten so far. So it is just started. I'm using a number 6 hook, and this is the Lollipop colorway. And again, I'll have the tutorial for the pattern that I'm using for this both at the end of this video as well as in the description. But it's really fun, and I can't wait to see how these colors turn out. I think these brights are going to be perfect for kids. That's all I have today for my works in progress. Let me know in the comments which project was your favorite. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep calm and crochet on.